Welcome to another edition of Phoenix TV, and this week in the interview hot seat, it's Luke Stauffacher. Luke, welcome to Phoenix TV.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've joined the season partway through, having started the season with the Fresno Falcons over the pond, so to speak. What happened there, and what made you come here?
Well, I was originally set to play out east in New York, and that kind of fell through, and ended up in Fresno on a trade, and kind of wasn't happy with my situation there, and started looking around, and this opportunity was out there, and I decided to take it and come see what hockey's like over here.
You played last season with Shawn Stockman. This season you're playing with him again. Is it good to meet up with old friends?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a big reason why I came here, and that's kind of there were some other offers out there, but it's easy to feel comfortable. You know a guy you've played with before, a guy that you're going to be playing on the same line as, which I have here, and it definitely made an easier transition.
So with a name like Stauffacher, tell me a little bit about your background.
Stauffacher, I think, actually is Swiss, but pretty close to Germany and Austria, kind of that whole area right around there, and so that's a Stauffacher name. But all my grandparents were all born in the United States, so I'm pretty far removed from Europe. So I grew up in Wisconsin, which is in the what they call the Midwest, over by the Great Lakes there, and a couple hours from Chicago. And right, you guys are raining right now. Right now we got about 2 feet of snow, so a little different.
How did you get started in hockey?
I started real young. My dad played. He got my brother into it, and so when I was about right after I was walking, they had me skating. So it's kind of was put into it, and I really enjoyed it, and I've liked it ever since.
You've picked up kind of an enforcer role going on for the middleweight category. Is that something you're happy with?
Well, that's kind of developed a couple of years ago when I first started playing pro. Being one of the few guys that'll go out there and get involved. That's a smaller guy. Obviously, I don't have to worry about a whole lot with Cloutier out there. And this league is there's a few less scraps, I guess you'll say, than where I played last year. So last year I was fighting quite a bit, and just kind of with numbers and unfortunately for the fans, I'd probably be fighting more. But we only have so many players, so you can't really afford it. And I know Tony didn't really bring me here to do that, but sometimes it happens, and it's part of the game. It's pretty fun sometimes too.
You talked there about Brett Cloutier, our resident heavyweight enforcer. You've gone up against guys of his size before, and you usually handle yourself pretty well. What's the secret to your fighting style?
I guess I'm not afraid of a whole lot. So what's the worst going to happen, I guess, is to kind of look at it, and when it's all said and done, it's over in 30 or 45 seconds. So it's part of the game, and after you do it enough times, you kind of get a little better at it each time.
So you say you weren't signed for your fighting prowess, you were signed for your playing skills, and that's something that's coming to the fore. You've got on the scoreboard several times since you've been here. How easy has it been to slot into the European style of hockey?
The first couple games, it was tough. I mean, the time travel was a little bit different, but even more so was the style of play. I got over here, and I felt my legs felt good, and I felt like I adjusted the time, and I get out on the ice, and it was, wow, this is a different style of play. We were playing every other shift, and you're logging a lot of ice, and just the style of teams playing where some of them have all 5 guys back, and each team kind of has their own different style. So it took me a couple weeks to get used to that, and I think by like my 4th or 5th game, I started to kind of feel the adjustment, and after that, it's been a little bit easier transition.
The depth of bench isn't what you're used to then?
No, we usually have 3 full lines, and you're fully rested when you go out there for a shift. And here, obviously, it's a different deal, and especially when you get injuries, you don't really have anywhere to grab other players. Where over North America, there's always guys floating around. It's pretty easy to pick guys up for a weekend or for a couple games. Here, if you lose one of your top guys, you're not going to be able to replace them that easily. So obviously, early when I got here, we had the injury bug, and we're finally starting to kind of get recovered from that. And it's I don't know if the fans can tell, but it's a difference for us to have a full team out there.
You mentioned the fans there, and it seems that in your short time with us, you've become an instant fan favourite. How important is the support of the supporters?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, obviously, inevitably, when it's all said and done, they're the ones that are paying our salaries and keeping the team, the club afloat. So I mean, the more support we get from them, the better, and the more success you're going to be able to have, in Manchester for hockey.
At the moment, we're kind of struggling for points. We're in the lower half of the table, but we're still well in a playoff spot at the moment. Is the playoffs the aim, or is a high table finish the aim for this team?
It depends who you ask. Some guys are really looking at the playoffs, and I was actually just had this conversation with Brian Passmore, my roommate right now, before I came over here today, and guys are talking, we got some points on Edinburgh and Hull, and me and Passy were like, wow. We looked at after grabbing 2 from Cardiff last night and playing them here tonight, and so there's a couple teams that are within reach that we can catch. So obviously you want to make the playoffs. That's their first step, and I think you look at it like that and being one of the top 8. But I think if you just keep winning, you'd be surprised at what other teams do, and you never know. Who knows what Belfast is going to do, or Nottingham. And I personally would like to try to catch some of those teams. I mean, there's a lot of games left, and now with our full team back, and I think we have a chance to close in that gap.
Do you find yourself looking more at the point gap between us and the teams ahead of us, or us and the teams behind us?
Personally, I look at who we can catch, and I look at it if you win games and you keep winning, the other teams aren't going to be able to stay with you. They have to win. So if you worry about yourself and you win games, the only thing you do is get close to the teams ahead of you. So. Obviously, you take it one game at a time. Tonight we have Cardiff, and hopefully we can have a strong performance. And we have a couple games coming up right before New Year's. So finish the year strong, and I think we'll have a chance to, in the end, be a little bit closer to those teams ahead of us.
Luke Stauffacher, thank you very much.
You're welcome.